Have you ever found yourself lost, confused, or stuck, not knowing what the next step is supposed to be? If so, welcome to the club. I don't think anyone gets through this life without standing in that place at some point. Here at Learning to Lean, we're learning how to lean not on our own understanding, but how to lean in to Jesus, to discover the path that leads to clarity, conviction, and obedience. And this path shaped how we build kingdom-minded businesses, unified teams, and whole families. So today I want to talk to you specifically about clarity. Because I don't know about you, but there have been many seasons in my life where I felt like I was standing in the dark, praying for direction, asking God for clarity, and not knowing where to turn next. Here's what I want to submit to you. Clarity is directly connected to obedience. And the more we walk in obedience, the more clarity we can expect to follow. Now you might say, Brady, obedience to God's law is impossible. And I would agree with this one important clarification. It is impossible in our own strength. Galatians 3:11, it says in the NLT, "So it is clear that no one can be made right with God by trying to keep the law. For the scriptures say, it is through faith that a righteous person has life." So if clarity depends on us being perfect, we would all stay confused forever. But this is where the gospel comes into play. The first glimmer of clarity comes whenever we recognize our need for Jesus and place our faith in Him and Him alone. Sin and darkness entered into the human experience through the disobedience of the first Adam. But light and hope entered into the world through the obedience of the second Adam, Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Jesus already accomplished what we could not. And it's through His full obedience to the Father that we are now invited into a new way of thinking, into a new way of living. It's from faith to obedience to clarity. So here's the key shift. Whenever we trust in the finished work of Jesus, then our hearts change. And the inner change produces conviction, desire, and willing obedience. Not to earn God's approval, but because we already have it. Jesus says in Matthew chapter 5, this is His Sermon on the Mount, He said, "God blesses those whose hearts are pure, for they will see God." Purity of heart doesn't come from trying harder, it actually comes from trusting deeper. And as we follow Jesus in obedience, not perfectly, but faithfully, clarity begins to increase. Clarity is attainable because of Jesus. We don't remain confused forever. We don't walk in darkness without hope. As we learn to walk with Him, trusting His works, following His example, and learning what it looks like to walk in obedience empowered by grace, clarity follows. And that clarity shapes how we lead, how we build, and how we steward what God has entrusted to us. In the next video, I want to talk about what it looks like to live as stewards, not owners, and why that distinction changes everything. If this resonates with you, stay with me. We're learning together.